turn the camera on. Okay, day 2 on the Subaru. Didn't work so well, but whatever. I'll leave it. We got the oil drained. We got a couple things pulled out in the engine bay. I'll go ahead and give you a quick look at that. I believe Kai's a couple minutes out. You guys will meet Kai soon, the master tech himself, and we'll give you a breakdown what's going on. Subaru!
Alrighty, what's going on, guys? So, I got a phone call a couple weeks ago from a good friend Austin here. And he's like, hey man, I got some unfortunate news. And I was like, what's going on? He's like, my car blew up. And I was like, what? First, let me back up. He asked me a few questions with some of the symptoms that he had, right? And then after talking on the phone for a little bit, he told me, he's like, yeah, when I took the oil filter apart, there was glitter, chunks of metal inside of the oil filter. And I was like, well, that's a rebuild. Drain the oil, sure enough, looks, like the side of a bass boat. There's metallic everywhere. So I told him, I was like, hey man, we're gonna do a rebuild. But I was like, you know what? We can make the best of it. We'll go over some options. So after all those conversations, we're now here. So we're gonna be taking this motor out. In the process of getting some of these fuel lines out of here. Those were nice and fun to do. And then once we get it out, we'll set it on the ground and take the remainder of things off, like the intake manifold, the valve covers, a little bit of the sensors and stuff like that, and get it prepped to go to the machine shop. We're gonna be taking it actually down the street to Dom's Tuned by Dom. Good friend of mine is a guru when it comes to these Subarus. And yeah, he's just gonna help us out, get this thing back on the road, and that's it. So right now we're kind of doing the dirty work. Thank God that it's not scolding hot out. It actually is really nice. Makes for a great work environment. And yeah, so we're pretty much 80% there. We're just getting kind of a lot of the odds and ends off. And the last big piece that we're gonna be taking off is the downpipe and exhaust headers on the bottom. That's it.
And when I see these intake manifolds a different color, is that like upgraded or they just paint these? What is that?
Typically they are upgraded. So this is plastic, and then you have a cast aluminum or cast aluminum, I guess you could say, a cast manifold. With those manifolds, they are upgraded. They allow for more airflow. Of course, when trying to make more horsepower, you definitely need that. That's something that maybe later down the line, you wind up getting. But that's what those, they're like usually red or black.
Yeah, once you start explaining that, I was like, that's a silly question.
Yeah, that's all good. That's all good.
As soon as you explain it, I'm like, oh, dang, okay. It already makes sense.
All straight, so.
What else we got?
Yeah, we got a few grounds back here. I'm working my way to get this starter off. And that's,
we got to rip the exhaust off, too.
Yeah.
I'm actually on the fence. I want to upgrade that, but I'm already spending a ton of money.
I got a guy. Let me know.
Come on, you can't just drop. You can't just drop that. What does that mean? Come on, now talk to me.
That's like a real Vegas thing, right?
Talk to me.
I got a guy. Don't worry about it.
Talk to me.
So.
Cause especially, I heard I got a small guy, so I could just go straight down pipe and get this thing in the clear.
So this.
I had my parents stopped by last night before I left.
Okay.
And they had a clever idea of adding, of course, to the bill. It was like, hey, since all that's out, why don't you just upgrade the clutch and the flywheel and just put a new one in there since you're already at 120?
For sure can do that. For sure.
What's that hitting for?
Well, on Evos, clutches are anywhere from like 1,100 to like $2,000.
Oh.
So for example, my clutch, I have an Exetti triple. I didn't pay the full price because I converted my twin disc to it, but it was $1,900.
Oh.
My wife was watching this. It was only $500.
That's funny.
But yeah, so I would have to look up because I do not know the prices for Subaru clutches.
Yeah, they had the clever idea. It's like, yeah, it's only $300. I'm like, I'm sure it's definitely more than $300 for the setup.
Now we're to the point where I'm like, all right, do you want the default answer or do you want the real answer? And she's gotten ballsy sometimes. She's like, nah, give me the default or the real answer. Okay, it was this amount.
Yes, sir.
And she's like,
what are we taking off now?
so now I'm getting the bracket for the AC compressor off.
Oh, we're gonna try that little trick.
Which trick?
The trick of moving that over to the right, pulling the lines out of the way. Is that what you're moving now?
Yeah, so yeah, that way I can, this will be the last thing that's kind of crossing over the engine. Yeah, that way I can get to that.
Yeah, that's literally the only thing keeping us tight. Well, obviously bolted down, but in the
Yeah.
way is these lines, and they run back here.
Yeah, so after I get the compressor off, I'm then gonna kind of just fold it over this way. I'm gonna work on the harness, and then the last big thing that we're gonna have to do again is just the exhaust and the exhaust. But while I'm under there, I'm gonna have to get all the bell housing bolts and the engine motor mount bolts from underneath.
Some of these circumstances, or as far as taking all this out, I think it's as much as we can do or upgrade or change. I feel like now's the time.
Now you're thinking.
Because, I mean, even after we put all this back, we still got to do a tune and all of that. So, if I do get what's it called, downpipes on it, even like a couple months later, I got to get a whole nother tune again. Unless I'm...
So, yes and no. To get the maximum amount of horsepower or performance out of, like, say, for example, a downpipe, then yes, you can tune it. But you can buy a downpipe, right? Turbo back. You can essentially change your exhaust and not have to tune it, right? It's not going to drastically change your fuel temps as much as you would think. But when you do add an exhaust to any car or to any system, it does allow for things to be tunable. Right,
but it'll still run.
Oh yeah, it'll run.
Okay.
Yeah.
Talk to me then.
Yeah. So
talk to me.
But yeah, you don't have to. You don't have to. You can definitely, get away with not tuning it.
Okay. Well.
But if you want, you sure can. I mean, if you're gonna.
I mean, if that's not half of the reason why you get it anyway.
Oh, yeah,
I mean, I would think so.
If you're gonna,
obviously, I want to hear the turbo a little bit more, but I mean, more than anything, I'm trying to get the benefits of it.
Yeah. So if you're, obviously, like you said, you're in a really unique spot. So if you're going to already, do a bigger turbo, you're gonna do an exhaust, you're gonna, say you come across a deal with somebody selling an intake or something like that, then yeah, 100%, I would definitely take advantage of that and get a tune. And on top of that, the guy that's gonna, if you do go with Dom, right, as far as tuning goes, he has all those options, and that stuff is like, it's like the back, he knows the stuff like the back of his hand.
I mean, at that point, I'm not trying to walk around figuring out who can do it. A lot going on over here. We got a lot on the table. We've got starters. We've got intercoolers, airbox. We got the manifold, the famous manifold radiator. Everything's out. Well, not everything, but we're almost there. Holy smokes. So what we got left is that we got everything covered to where now we can hook it up, or talk to me. What's the word?
So now, after many cuts and polite cuss words, we are now just down to the long block. Intake's off, rails are off, injectors are off. Turbo is still there. Downpipe is off. So now we just gotta take this dog bone. That's Volkswagen terms. But we gotta take this this mount off here, bolts for the bottom, and then yep, grab a cherry picker, and we can lift this thing up out of here. So I did say, I was like, we should probably have this done in an hour, 3.5 hours. Anyway, but yeah, that pinned us up. I thought I was gonna be able to get this whole thing off without yanking that off, but there was just, this was looped over the top, and it's just a mess. Subaru,
Come on now.
don't. But yeah, so we'll, yeah.